Well, good morning, kids. Welcome once again to the Coyote Rock and Roll Medicine Show. Coming to you right here from Crestone, Colorado. Grandpaw Coyote speaking with you once again this morning. And here's a salute to you as well. You know this old cup you see me drinking on all the time? See how it says Campfire Coffee on it? Somebody handmade that for me when we had our little Campfire Coffee shop over in Guthrie, Oklahoma years ago. It's kind of cool. Made this old cup and hand-fired it for me, and I've had it ever since. We made history with that little coffee shop, I'll tell you. It was fun. We had tiny little space. But we would some weekends get 300-400 people showing up to do music at night. Usually it was like 30, 40, and we had a nice crowd. But once in a while we'd get on TV or something, get a little news coverage, and then we'd just be bursting at the seams. And when we left that town, we'd done such great things with music there that when we left that town, had to close our little shop. They bought our sidewalk sign, our little Campfire Coffee sign with our logo on it, and put it in a museum. Well, babies, I hope you have as powerful an influence on the life around you as we had there. And it wasn't like we were trying or anything, it just came. Because we were there doing a service, opened our hearts, and just wanted to share. Well, that's basically what we're looking at when we are looking at personal empowerment. How to realize, how to wake up to what we really are, and to use these powers that we have for the betterment of all humankind, let alone ourselves. It's time to do that. Since time immemorial, we've been taught that we're powerless, that diseases and wars and breakups in relationships, things like that, just come your way. Foreclosures, oh my God. And that we're powerless to act against them or to change them. Well, now I remember when I was a kid, a young man, and I would have these dreams. And of course I would forget them after I had them. But then I would start to live in the circumstance of the dream. I would start to recognize a familiar pattern. Some folks call it deja vu, but for me it was something I'd dreamt. And most of the time when I started recognizing the pattern, it would be moments leading up to some kind of disastrous thing in your life, a loss of a job, loss of a home, something like that. It was pretty severe stuff. And when I was a kid, I didn't know any better. I'd just recognize the flow and take it as a warning and duck. But I'd still get hit, still get clobbered. But then I learned as time went on that if I just changed one little word in the scenario, if I recognized a pattern, if I recognized something going on that was going to lead to something somewhat disastrous, I would change the word. I would change a direction. I would move differently than what the dream told me that I was going to do. And darn if the outcome didn't change too. You see how that works? Now I'm sure you have premonitions and dreams and things like that. See? And you're learning, same as I am, how it is that these are predictive and how it is that we are to handle them. That's really the secret to empowerment. And this is what they try to hide from you all the time, is recognize what empowerment you already have. How many angels are working with you. I mean, it's just amazing how much coverage we already have. How empowering we are in our own little lives. Now, I'm facing some situations here that are pretty extreme. Yet it's a repeat of an old familiar pattern. So I'm being called on to dig into my creative resources and come up with a little bit different version of this dream so I can hang on to my house and my good life here, you know. So I've tried to redream it in more commercial ways, and that has been unsuccessful. Though it's led to a place where I do have the potential now for income finally that'll cover my expenses here. It's been a booger, and that's always been a trouble area in my life. Is, you know, I got used to living with no money, and it just seems to be the way to do it, you know. But it doesn't work in the kind of scenario I'm trying to live in now. So I'm going back in my life, just little moments here and there, and reviewing and recognizing my moments of empowerment. What is active there when I do manage to change things, like I did when I noticed the deja vu dreams and moved differently than the dream told me. So now, on the one side, I got this thing trying to hold me down, hold me back. I'm losing everything, and I might as well just let it go. And then I got this other thing that says, Coyote, you're far too sweet for that, you know, and you're here to share your light and love. You need this little nest to gather people together. You know, your home is a social entertainment center in a way, but it's not really. It's a gathering place. It's a heart. There's a heart right at the center of this little house that I live in, this little cabin as I call it. And there's an energy here. It's feelable and knowable. So I'm going to tap into this energy that is so complementary, so agreeable to me as a person, that this should be my home, this should be my place of being, and this is where I should be. And I'm going to follow that thread. And I'm going to let angels, yeah, real angels, show me the way. I'm going to let them read back to me what's in my own little heart. Hear it beating away in my chest. Only it's not that. It's the intelligence that the heart carries. It's more like in the center of your chest. That's where it comes from. So I'm going to do a little meditative practice, yes, and see if I can't follow the flow. But I'm going back and I'm looking at where I've been empowered, where I've changed things. You know, I've lived through 1,000,000 brushes with death, near brushes with death. I talked about this the other night on a radio show I did with Cubana Romana. Oh, she's so great, man. Cubana Rama, not Romana, but Rama. Yeah, Marta. She does an awesome radio show. You guys haven't heard it. I'm going to post it up here pretty soon. I'll get a copy of it. It's 2 hours long, so you just have to take it in segments, but it's very worthy of your attention. But we were talking about all the brushes I'd had with death, you know. Geez, oh, you talk about moments of empowerment. There they are right there. If I'm able to be in a life-threatening situation many times over and manage to work my way out of it, then I'm seeing the universe in motion and saving my bacon. And that's what it's called upon to do now in a different way. And see, I've never really understood the money world, the operational function behind it. It never made sense to me. Never does, never will. Because it's stupid on the surface of it. It makes no God-blessed sense to place values on things, and then, you know, have to have this money to buy and sell it, whatever it is. It's ridiculous. So the basic thing, man, I understand business well enough. I've been in business several times myself. The coffee shop was just one of them. And I've done a lot of things in my time commercially. I do understand the function of that, but at the same time, I don't agree with it. It's stupid. So I've had some difficulties in that area most of my life. You know, I've had times when there was a good cruise, thank goodness, but I've never been in the big money. I've always had to kind of struggle for it. You know, even when the good money was there, I was struggling, you know, because the zeros just get bigger and the bills just get bigger too. I mean, it's strange how that goes. Money is a consuming little monster. And yeah, it's something we got to let go of as time goes by. When there's equity here, we will, and we'll do it automatically. And we're pretty darn close to such dramatic moments, believe it or not. I mean, think about this. Everything in the money world now is electronics. It's in a computer. Your bank account, the billionaire's bank account, everybody's bank account is in a computer now. Well, if those computers were to go down, that's a complete loss of value everywhere. And then we got to start from scratch and rebuild and learn how to share from the caring and kind side of our heart to do things. It's amazing how many times we're motivated by money in our lives, and that leads us into doing good things because of the pressure of money. You know, you get motivated. You know, I remember when I first hit Boulder years ago, I was had $15 in my pocket when I hit town, so obviously I was going to need to develop some income. But obviously I was there to share the wealth of what I am already, and I assumed that others would share the wealth with me. So I set up down there on Pearl Street, on that Pearl Street Mall there in good old Boulder, Colorado, and I started doing healing and reading work for folks, you know, just hooking into them and helping them tune on and vibe up, kind of like what I do here with these YouTube videos. And son of a gun, you know, I didn't make a lot of money, but I had enough to eat, you know, enough to keep clothes on my back for the most part. Never could afford an apartment. I had to go to work to get all that stuff done later, but you know, the universe took such good care of me. I had very little money, but man, people were generous. I was without a home for 4 years there, and I never lacked a place to sleep, a nice place to stay. I never lacked for food. People would even come and share weed with me, righteous weed, help me open up, transcend the reality so I can convey that impression to others. You know, we were all working together. It was a beautiful thing, a beautiful 4 years. But I got this thing, this hippie thing, that is so opposed to the money. And it stumbled me over again and again, because when I run into the places where I could make extreme money, I don't do it. I'm always questioning the morality of it and so forth. I don't need it. But what I do need, you know, is to be able to live. And I've lacked the substance of that. So now I'm going back inside of myself and I'm reviewing these moments, all the near-death stuff, all of the times when my ass has been pulled out by the angels because my own heart empowered him to do so. And then I'm going to look at the elements of the universe and I'm going to try to understand enough of this economics to get my ass out of trouble and see where this empowerment leads. I know there's a miracle or many miracles just waiting to happen. I have to open to receive it. And I've been so damned angry over the money issue for so many years. I mean, centuries without end. You know, I remember a time I waded into a place and just busted it up because there was a bunch of selling going on in what everybody considered a sacred place. Shit. That's happened many times over. I'm not just talking about one incident. I've done this a few times in some lives, and it's even got me killed before, you know, but oh well, that's another story, you know. When you start remembering your lives, holy crap-a-moly. But you have to remember to put them into context. And maybe that's what I've been missing here. Maybe that's what I need to do, is put it into context. You know, let the universe benefit me, because that's what I need right now. You know, I may not need it forever, but I need it for a while. And here it is, and we might as well hang on to what we got. So that's the biggest thing I'm being called to do right now, is open my heart wide enough that I can receive the abundance necessary to see me through this little bit of squeaky time. Babies, whatever you're facing in your life, whether it's loneliness and you really want a partner, it's a lack of money, difficulties with relationships with your kids. Babies, it's true. To be empowered, you first got to find peace in yourself, in your heart. And know that it's there. I found my first peace when I was 28 years old. Had a heart attack in the truck, in the sleeper cab of my truck. Thank goodness I had my old lady with me at the time, and she was able to help me out and get me some help. But I realized as I was going through the death throes there, which brought me back to life, thank goodness, I realized that at 28 years old, for all of the mess I'd made out of my life, and boy, it was, though I'd been partying too, of course, you know, I know how to enjoy messes, good messes. But I was satisfied. If that's where I had to check out, you know, and I was going to short circuit there and die, I was satisfied with what had gone on. I was happy with my old lady, my kids, you know, whatever I'd done. I wasn't particularly proud of any of it, but all of it was here. And it was living in me, and I loved it. And it was all good. As much as I judged myself over it, it was all good. So at that young age, 28 frickin' years old, that death come along to teach me peace. Now I got a financial death coming along to teach me another kind of peace. And if I really want to help influence and change this reality and get rid of the skullduggery and the nonsense that goes on here, the brutality, babies, I got to open. I've got to let it happen. I've got to let go of the old resistance and play the game right for a change. And I know your thoughts and prayers are with me, as mine are with you, my energy, and we'll get through it because we're so close. On all these other levels, we're almost to the point of ascendancy. Now that's just another step along the way, and we'll just keep growing from there. But that's why that's the other thing too. I've got all this distraction coming at me, trying to stop me from the path. And this thing, they can't stop. The momentum's too strong. And I get my times. I take my times during the day, and you got to do it too. And I do my tuning in, and I stay in the flow. And babies, when you see how empowering that is, then you'll see how to change everything in your life, my life, our lives, for the betterment of everyone. And this is another little secret to realizing your empowerment. Always do things for the betterment of all. Be thinking of that. That's what your heart says. It's not just you, but if you better you better everybody else, because you're willing to share. You're not like the greedy sacks of shit that take it and stash it in a bank account and sit on it like old Scrooge McDuck or something. You're the kind to get out there and get creative and get it flowing, babies. So that's what we're here to do now. And if you're feeling less and less empowered, if the life is attacking you from all sides, baby, you're being called to reach inside and find that source of empowerment, which most certainly exists within you because you've been bailed out so many times before in so many different ways. So take a look, babies. And remember, life's just rock and roll, but it's meant to soothe your soul and take away all heartache and pain. And God, we're so close. Babies, we're right on top of it. Don't let anything distract you. Stay with it. That's empowerment too. And the more we can focus on what's really happening, the opening of our hearts and souls to one another, I might add, the better the rest of it's going to be. And that's one thing I do now. I stay on the path no matter what, and I don't let it go. So I know these little glitches and gooches and gunches that you get as you're going along are just pushing you, nudging you in the directions you need to go. It may be negativity and darkness. Look at it. Look at the essential intention behind it, and you'll find out it ain't so damn dark. That it's a blessing in disguise, and not so well disguised either. We've just been taught to be blind, babies. But the blind shall see, the dead shall walk, and all shall hear, and all shall be in the heart. and all shall hear and sing the harmony of life. That's just the way it is, babies. That's empowerment. That's who we are. That's what we do. Grandpa loves you. Rock and roll can soothe your soul, and always takes good care of your heart. Catch you in a bit, babies. Love you.